What Snake Men could we expect in the future based on tooling that the Masters of the Universe has already produced? Join us as we discuss this and the latest Motu news with our special guest, Allison Troy, right now on Toy Habits Live. And before we go live, smash that like button, turn on notifications, and subscribe to the channel so you won't miss a beat. Hey everyone, welcome back to Toy Habits. I'm Michael.
And I'm the Toy Sorceress, and you're watching Toy Habits Live. How you been, Michael?
I'm good. It's been a last week. It's always rough at the day job with the end of the quarter because there's just always so much to jam pack.
Yeah.
So it's actually really nice to get some alone time with everyone here and just talk about the stuff that we love. How was your week?
Oh, it was good. The beginning of the week, of course, was crazy with Motu news and getting over cold and stuff. And then the rest of the week work was nuts. But we had some cool new stuff drop the last couple days, which we're going to talk about today. Some new teases, which was awesome, right? New card back teases. So we had a lot to talk about.
Yeah, that's going to be exciting. That's always fun because whenever Mattel makes these drops, the card arts and card backs always follow, and then the whole cycle repeats again. So it's really fun.
I know, and it's incredible. When we started the website over a year ago, we did these series of articles with teases for all the characters and creatures and vehicles and stuff, thinking about what would come, and it's so cool to see each of them like one by one come to fruition. So yeah, it's a lot of fun.
Yeah, it's very cool. And then we also have a special guest that will be joining us soon. And before we actually dive into this Snake Men discussion, we wanted to send a shout out to our ever-growing Toy Habits crew. And we have our inaugural set of members and supporters with Trenton, Nomad, Giraffe, Ryan, Frankie, Dave, Mr. Home Arcade, Allison, Tom, Clint, Christian, Black's Brick Something, Daniel, Tim, Charlie, Pride of Grayskull, Baroness of Toys, and Payne's Toy Sample. And since our last stream, we added 3 more crew members. Manic Plastic Toy Shop, what a cool name. Retro Southpaw, who I had the pleasure of meeting in person at a toy show in Santa Clara, what's up, and Brennan Barnes. So welcome to the crew. And if you want to join, just go click the join button and see the varying levels of support. So appreciate it.
Man, that's incredible. Thank you to all the new Toy Habits crew members. We've been having some fun, kind of our little backstage, chats and stuff like that. So it's a lot of fun. We get to do more stuff, outside of this with the crew members, which it's been a blast.
Yeah, it's been fun just getting the hot tub all warm and ready.
Yeah, I know, the bubbles are starting to percolate.
It is. Do we want to say hi to the chat before we kick things off? All right,
let's dive in. All right, we got Beast Mode, King Panther, Lost Tabasket, Fantasy Kagu Geeks 54. That's a long name. Frank Pryor's here. Clint Jorgensen, what's up? Shiny Plastic People, hey, how's it going? We got Brennan Barnes, that's our newest member of the crew. Derek Dazzle's here. Payne's Toy Samples, welcome. Frankie Riviera. We got Brennan. Oh, sorry, Brennan, I said hi to you already. Skyfall's here. Jeffrey May's here. Mayfield. Big thanks to Daniel Huron for your incredible super chat. How's it going, Daniel? Let's go ahead and Nature, welcome messenger. You just got home from Chicago, going to hang out in the hot tub with Zorana. Where did she put her bikini?
Oh, geez. Zorana. Daniel just got back. He just watched, or he was at a John Williams concert in Chicago. So,
that's so cool. Awesome. Robert Alessandrini is here. Henry G. Obi-Wan Shinobi's, I guess. Cass. We got Jordan Life Breeze, My Buddy's Customs here, Jose Creative TV, Darren Soda is here, Ray Hernandez, we're just about done. Fanda Bizzoni's here, Cass S, and we got Steve Munar and Brian Braddock 2012. welcome to everyone. Oh, and here's another one of our crew members, Giraffe. How's it going? Oh my God, Giraffe is such a cracker.
He is
Giraffe in the hot tub, man. Cracking me up.
Getting hot in the hot tub.
Welcome.
Awesome.
Getting all bubbly, right? Welcome to everybody. Oh, we got Laura V here. Hey, Laura. Oh. How's it going? Oh my God, you're gonna have to tell me about your trip to Frank and Sons. We'll have to chat on the DM. Awesome.
That's awesome.
How's it going?
So cool. What's up, Lara? Cool. I just you might be noticing that I'm wearing a different shirt today, and this is merch from Masters of the Mini Comics. So I just wanted to send a special shout out to the Masters of the Mini Comics YouTube channel. Just for sending me this T-shirt. If you haven't checked out his channel, he truly brings comics to life, and he does these really amazing readings, and he also adds like character voices and sound effects. It's really a whole experience when you get to see like him reimagine the mini comics, doing these readings and all of these amazing voiceovers. He's super talented, so just be sure to check him out for yourself. You will not be disappointed. So thank you, Masters of the Mini Comics. Really appreciate it.
And before we get started, let's just say hi to the last two people, because I know you like this one user. Unicorn's Left Nut just showed up, and also Paul Galliano's here.
Yes, both of them. I had to, Michael. Yes, both of them. Unicron's Left Nut still. Yeah, I mean, if somebody can make a user ID that's better than Unicron's Left Nut, I might have to dethrone that particular user ID from being my favorite. But for now, nobody's done it.
Yeah. Yep. Love that.
All right, so let's kick off our main event today, and we want to welcome our special guest, Allison Troy, who is live with us, and just wanted to introduce her, just so everybody can get to know her. She is very passionate about the topic that she wanted to talk about with us today, and so we are too. But Allison is a toy customizer, aspiring pop culture historian, and purveyor of sass. Welcome, Allison.
How's it going, Allison?
And
I think you're muted.
Yeah, let's get you off mute.
You're still muted. It's okay.
Oh, here.
On the bottom of your screen.
Oh, I can't unmute.
Can you unmute? Okay. Oh, there we go.
All right.
There we go.
But that's the whole thing about live, right?
Right. Thanks for having me back.
Yeah. Good to have you here.
Tooling and stuff. All right. Really quick. Have we shared the screen yet? Because I realized
Nope, not yet.
Not yet.
Perfect.
Why don't you give us a little introduction about this amazing research and cool kind of the little slideshow you put together for us, because it's incredible work. It's an incredible amount of very interesting research. It's gonna be a lot of fun for all those Motu fans out there.
Yeah, slides are cool. So thank you for because Michael had suggested I use slides for it. And it's amazing. So I haven't done one since like college, so I was excited to do that. So everyone, break out your slideshows. So I obviously am a customizer a lot. You'll probably notice that any of my comments on any videos. If you're on the Geek Dad Life Discord server, I pretty much don't buy anything outside of Motu and occasional Star Wars right now, unless it's just sort of slice and dice it and turn it into a different character, usually from Motu. I'm on an extreme Origins deep dive because a lot of it is because of the flexibility of being able to change all the parts and swap, and you can do a lot of customs with Origins without having to know how to paint or sand or sculpt or anything, just by switching parts. Anytime an Origins release happens, I don't actually, of course, there's the excitement over new characters, but like Snake Tila, my first thought is, well, there's the torso, there are the boots, there's 2000X Tila. Also, they could do the Battle Armor Tila from the old Mark Taylor sketches that was on the Battleground Warriors Target 2-pack. So I just I don't know. It's sort of OCD of me, but it's really just part of what I've loved about Origins
Frankly,
and why
just
it's
looking at
so
my t-shirt.
exciting. So yeah. So that's the backstory.
That's awesome. Did you want to bring up your slides, or I can
Yeah.
bring them up if you like.
Slides. Yeah, that's a good idea.
All right, I got
There
it.
we go. And let's
Cool.
go to the beginning because this is halfway
Yeah.
through.
Yeah.
All right,
Spoiler
Cyclone.
alert.
And I even gave us an exclamation point because it's exciting.
Yes.
So who's left in this faction? What does the tooling suggest we can expect as Mattel continues to explore the vintage and 2000X and classic Snakeman? We've actually, with the announcement of Snakeface and Squeeze, we actually have all of the vintage Snakemen. So that's really exciting.
Yeah.
There's a faction completed.
Oh yeah.
Not the Snakemen, but vintage Snakemen.
Yes.
And also with Eternia coming, we also sort of, at least to me, it seems pretty evident we're going to start moving into Powers of Grayskull.
I hope so.
And well, a lot of the,
I'm so stoked about that.
right? Well, I mean, like Samurai technically would have been a Powers of Grayskull figure, so we're sort of already there a little bit. But also, the Snake Troopers have, of course, the Horde, and the Horde are a part of the Preternia plot. I've heard rumors. I don't know if they're just wishful thinking, but I've heard rumors that we're going to be getting back to the Horde and possibly Princess of Power and Origins next year. And 1984 is officially She-Ra's 40th. So, like, it'll be her 40th anniversary next year. It would be a good time to throw some Origins out.
Oh,
I had to pull out the vintage She-Ra for the situation. Yes.
So, all right, let's sort of stay official. All right. There we go. All right, so summer and fall of 2023. These are the Snake Men we'll be seeing. However, we also know Comic-Con in San Diego is coming, and Mattel usually has a presentation. So I'm kind of expecting a few more Snake Men. I think one thing we can definitely look forward to is 2000X variants and things like Terror, who has not officially gotten confirmed, and Lord Grasp or Gasp. Right? Well, it's supposed to be the Asp because of the punny nature of Motu.
So punny.
Yeah, it's so funny.
It's both ridiculous, but also part of the Motu charm. I'm working on a pig head spout custom right now called Hogwash.
Nice.
It feels like Motu.
Oh, that's cool.
That'd totally be Motu, right?
Yeah, right. That's what they would have gone with in the 80s, something ridiculous. But as kids, like, we love those puns. So
how do you feel with getting some of the Masters of the Universe classics like Terror, like possibly with Terror and with Lord Grasp in Origins form?
I think, well, I would like, I mean, I'm for the extension of the line. For me, in the beginning, what I liked best about Origins was the idea that we would get non-vintage characters who are either original to classic or had just never had a figure before, and getting them in that Origin style. I've enjoyed the 2000X fingers crossed so far, sort of the translation. Those designs never really landed with me in 2000 when they came out originally, but like the snake armor He-Man looks really good, I think.
Yeah.
And
what did you think of the snake armor He-Man in the variant 4-pack with that added deco on him? He's got like kind of black accents and now a vac middle power sword. I think it looks cool.
It looks really cool.
I like it.
I just wanted another Snake Man. You could have given us another Snake Man there instead of another He-Man. But
how many times can they reuse Cobra Khan's head though? Head?
Well, not enough. And
I know, right?
Well, I mean, that one. This is the first retail release of that one because the other one was with the Camo Con, so it's the first time the hooded head is getting out there, which I guess probably leads to. No, wait. Let's see. This is slide 3. All right. So classics. We have. There were the two Snake Men, and tooling wise, I think, I mean, like the snake head would be fine. You could get, they might cheap out and reuse Rattler and Cobra Con again, but also I think they should sculpt a new snake head, because if they do one new snake head sculpt for that, they could get 20 other snake men. Fangor is pretty cool. He reuses King.
Yes, Fangor's great. It's funny because it's funny because
Hiss's head. Good.
It's funny because I actually thought that Mattel would be remaking that Snake Men 2-pack into that 4-pack.
That's what my first well, and it also came with 4 different head sculpts. So, well, 2 different ones, and molded in different colors, but it easily could have taken the place. My first thought, which Mattel proved me wrong. Thanks, Mattel. My first thought was we would get Cobra Con, a 2000X style, almost Cobra Con with the open hood, which we kind of did. It's just in blue. But I thought we would get that, and then 2 of these Snake Men. And then I wasn't sure about the 4th. I actually even rejected the idea of a He-Man variant when I was making the original sort of version of this speculative fiction that I've got up here. So, but yeah,
partly based in truth. Come on.
A little bit.
Yes, I was going to say, Brennan asked a good question. If the Snake Men from the 4-pack have names, and they actually do. And I believe it was in the listing, but
nice.
And I wonder if we take a look at the names, if we can figure out where they came from. So I'm actually trying to pull it up right now, and this one just says Snake Army Builder. Okay, so that's BBTS. Does not tell us anything. I'm going to go to Entertainment Earth. I do know that they do have names.
I thought I'd read a comment on the channel where I think one of them was named. And it might have had to do something with like Slither or I don't know. There was something there. Oh yeah, Robert was saying Slither.
Okay, well, most of those showed up in the big Eternia display that they had last year at San Diego Comic-Con, where they were like, well, they're just kit bashes. You're probably not going to see them. And of course, then we got it, which is why I didn't include them on any of my lists before Monday. But also, a lot of them come from sort of Axel's various card backs. If you look at Koldar's back, the back of Koldar, there are a bunch of just sort of generic Snake Men. The CamoCon has some generic ones as well. So, but right now, with the way Origin, like Axel does his artwork for Motu, none of those are like, he doesn't really just do random characters. They're either from the old mini comics or some media, and it's always with an eye toward them potentially being included. So. I mean, Axel is like amazing. And the whole aesthetic he brings, like he's one of the few people I think who really gets that vintage, the feel like when he does modern art, like he's just has that aesthetic. And his designs also, which we'll be looking at some of those, have it also. Oh, sorry.
I was just going to say, so the blue snake actually from the 4-pack is called Slither, and then the other 2 are called Grunts, and it's like Snake Men Grunts. And I'm wondering if like Motu's kind of Mattel is saving that name for like just that standard kind of little Cobra Con Army Man, type of figure, and maybe Slither has a really cool backstory to him.
He might.
That open up more characters.
I didn't come across him in my research, but again, like just because he's not in classics or not named, it's not like there's room to name every character on the Axel artwork. Oh, if there was. Exactly. But yeah, like that's cool. But it's a new Snake Man, so that's also promising.
Yeah,
because Axel has designed a few newer things for the cards. I do think we're going to see some 2000X Snake Men.
I hope so.
Cobra.
Yeah, that would be really cool.
I mean, they've got Cobra Con right now. It's just the hooded head with the Cobra Con body with a new gun and some gold accoutrement.
Yeah,
I think you can guarantee they're going to do
that. Just to answer Pop Actor's question, was it possible for someone to collect all the classics back in the day? Seems like so many. Are you talking about Masters of the Universe classics or just the vintage ones? But I'm guessing that if we we didn't
Well,
collect these as a kid, so we just played with them.
yeah.
And they all got garage sale. They're thrown away at some
Yeah,
point.
with classics you had the subscription, so for the most part you had to
Yeah.
get all of them. So
Yeah.
except for a few, I think the Snake Man 2-pack was like one of the holiday extras, but
The Battle Armor King Hiss here is, I think, one of my favorite versions of King Hiss.
yeah, I like. Well, I mean, as much as we love his vintage look, it's a sort of like he looks really ridiculous also. So it's not like. I mean, we all know he looks, but that's part of his charm. But he does look pretty ridiculous, like the big. Yeah, I'm just like nobody would be fooled by him because he's too creepy. He would come close to you and you'd be like stranger danger.
Right.
So, but I mean, it worked.
And just to circle back to Brennan's comment, I don't think it takes Lady Slither off the table because isn't his name Slithor, and so they can do a lot with vowels. So
well, even Lady Slither isn't. I would say is not off the table because Axel has a particular affinity for her and tries to include her in our variants of her, or characters that will get the tooling they need for her. Of sort of the non-produced Snake Man concept, she is one of the more popular ones among fan communities. So to do more Snake Men, they're going to have to do characters that either are really visually exciting or have enough of a fan base so that they're guaranteed a few. So, I mean, like if they did Lady Slither as like a Mattel Creations exclusive, people would be down for that.
Oh, I'd totally be down for that.
I mean,
I don't even think like the fan base is so excited to get anything new Motu right now that they could lay like any character in front of us and we'd eat it up. Like, I mean, the reaction to Monday's reveals was incredible, guys.
It felt like
everyone
sort of like Christmas, the 4th of July, and everyone's birthday all happening at once. It was a really nice day for and I'm hoping Mattel like had somebody observing that and noticed how like enthused we all were and like like I was just jumping from like Discord server to server and like in everyone's comments just like excited, and it was nice seeing everyone excited because it's sort of been a gloomy few months for Motu peeps.
Yeah.
All right.
And we only have 5 days left.
Except for us.
Well, yeah. Well, yeah. So 2000X CobraCon I think is a given. Also with Coldar, we know that Mattel is willing to consider Filmation.
Yes.
His CobraCon's face, his face, his face and his hat are different enough that it would require a new sculpt. But this is, I think, where those 2 Snake Men come in, like from that 4-pack, with the 2-pack with the 4 heads, because his Filmation head sculpt easily could be translated into either that sort of mustard yellow one or that taupe tan one. And so they would get, because we all know Mattel enjoys reusing their tooling and we love them for it now. Used to I would just say Mattel is cheap, but now I'm like, no, they're really smart because this is why I keep buying all their stuff.
Yeah.
And that's what allowed the line originally to last as long as it did. And that's what's allowing the line to be as successful as it is now.
That's why I've got 12 naked
being smart.
Because I can break that up and make different people from them. So I think it's smarter than it maybe looks from the outside.
Yeah, I mean, I would love to see a lot of the Filmation characters made. There's some really cool there's like things that they put out in classics like Shakoti and
Shakoti for sure. Like I think also what's lacking in Mochi right now is a generic female buck. We have several generic male bucks, so we're pretty much limited to some sort of variant of Tila, Evelyn, or the Sorceress, or Shira, but it's like those are very distinctive torsos.
Yeah.
You need something more generic where they can just sort of clip armor onto it, sort of how Mark Taylor originally envisioned Tila and Evelyn, where it was like a really generic sort of white top. And then like all of Tila's sculpted details originally were designed as an armor layover. That went away when they combined her and the original Sorceress character. They just sculpted and then threw the snake armor over her. But originally the female buck back in the day was designed And I think with Shikati, well, I mean, Shikati, I've got a custom planned using the Masters of the WWE buck. Their little wrestling top works perfect for Shikati. So if anyone's wanting to make that one, there you go.
Wow.
So
we want to give a huge shout out to Extendar. I'm so sorry, Allison.
Holy
I don't
cow.
want to interrupt.
Oh no!
Thank you for the $20 super chat.
Oh my
Tower
God.
of Power is here. Hey, Extendar, I want to give you a huge shout out because you made an appearance on one of the card backs that we're going to talk about today. Actually, on the back of Snake Face's card out. So we will talk about you, Extendar, and thank you so much for your very generous super chat. Go ahead, Allison. I apologize for interrupting.
Nice
we've got some Extendar in my slides.
Oh.
So one of the things also that's good about 2000X, obviously, as we've already seen with Man at Arms and He-Man, and Tila, is that there are hero variants, such as Serpent Track Mechanic, which could be a way for us to get a carded Mechanic instead of a pack-in. My suspicion was the reason we got that sort of pack-in Mechanic was what probably Mattel not thinking that 2 or 3 Mechanics on a card on shelves was going to play. But they're wrong. We love Mechanic. Also, Fisto, like, Battle Fist, because that's what they had to call him in 2000X toy line because of Mattel not securing the rights to Fisto properly. Battle Fist doesn't have as many dirty jokes, though. Hi, Kayla. I hope she's in the audience for the Fisto joke.
It's Kayla
there
here.
you go, Kayla. I set you up. But also, he's got, Fisto's look is different enough for 2000X. Yeah. That would be a valid variant, not just sort of a repaint.
Yeah, and he needs to come with that cool snake, like that huge snake catcher too. So it's like,
yeah, right. Just in the big furry like skirt thing with the medallions, like and the helmet. Like we need it all, Mattel. We need it all.
Turn it up.
Then there's Snake Hunter He-Man, which is different than Snake Armor He-Man. Although most of us are not ready for another Stratos on the shelf, there was Sky Strike Stratos who came with some new accessories, so they could do that. Snake Crush Skeletor must happen because he looks like completely ridiculous and bizarre.
Oh, that would be awesome.
And that's what I love, like those big snake arms and the. I mean, it doesn't even look like Skeletor because you can't see his face through the snake head. Which almost seems like a given because really they could achieve that just by repainting the snake armor Skeletor they just gave us. We just need this. And those snake arms, if we look at them, they could probably repaint Squeeze's arms and get us that. So
yeah, actually, Black Phoenix makes a cool comment. Like the only good thing about the WWE figures is that you can take them apart and use them for customs. Yes. Also, like the accessories are cool. So like the Stone Cold Steve Austin that came with that Rattlesnake Mountain set. He had some cool snake arms, and so it's like they could do some of the stuff that they were doing in the WWE line too.
Yeah, I got a bunch of those just to sort of. I don't even know who wrestling people are.
I do.
I know who Hulk Hogan is, of course. Everyone knows Hulk Hogan. Yeah. It was the 80s. And I know the ones who were like in the Cyndi Lauper videos because that was my jam in the 80s. But I've got like one of the local Walmarts had the Beckys and the Stephanies on sale, and I went to town. It was like $5. I spent too much. But I've got customs for years. And Becky's hair will rip right off if you throw her in the boiling water long enough.
Looks like you Speaking of sales, I was just going to give everyone a little mention that Target does have some more new Masterverse figures on sale because I picked up an extra Zodak for $10 today. And the one that I told Michael I would not buy, but I did get Lingerie Lynn.
I knew it.
$10.
I knew it.
I took her home. But anyway, I picked up a couple flights down, so I'm like, it'd be cool to have an extra Stratos.
Well, yeah, but you have to pose her a certain way for the lingerie to look nice, but otherwise,
she has her cape up like this. She's up on the shelf right there.
Yeah,
but yeah, I mean, there's some incredible sales going on, and 2 bags like $23 right now. So
yeah, and then
go pick them up.
Yeah, like the Brennan was saying, he got the Goldberg for the Ram Man helmet.
Oh, yeah.
And, I think all those accessories that they
think
have in that Mott WDB line are awesome.
I've actually, speaking of, just since we're there, let's see if the camera will get them. So like John Cena with the little helmet all painted up.
Whoa, that's awesome.
Yeah, so I mean, they sold a bunch of those to me that I could do that stuff.
Do you
Speaking
think
of
Mattel was kind of testing the waters with like the WWE like armor pieces and stuff like that first before using them on Origins figures?
Because they almost hit at like the same time. What they did do is they scaled down a lot of the classics accessories for those. But I also think the way the license works is it's limited is how they can share tooling with active lines. So I suspect, well, and they're also doing this for the superstars now. So I think it was a way to get a line out there while Origins was hitting to possibly get wrestling people over there and then Motu people over to the wrestling. And at least worked on my side. So I was sad when that line ended.
Yeah, I was too. I mean, I've been a fan of wrestling since I was 7, so I was, of course, sad when it ended.
Right.
But we can continue with the WWE Superstars line. So.
Yeah,
those are really cool. I like
a couple of those. I need to get Typhoon because that big buck would be perfect.
Yeah, I'm glad that they're doing that.
Pighead's minion that I'm making.
I got too much stuff, but here's Typhoon that I picked up at Frankenstein's last weekend.
She's like, let me see it again.
Right. The big buck's cool.
Yeah, no,
he's got a nice,
I'm gonna make a Pighead minion, big boar with him.
Oh, that's cool.
Right. Because I've got all these extra 3-packs of Sunmen because I needed space sumos. Speaking of Zodak, though, we definitely need Zodak with the K Mattel.
Yes.
Like that's one of my big 2000X wants is Zodak with a K.
Yeah.
But he's also tied into the Snake Men. His origin in the cartoon was. So I think he's a good candidate as they start moving from Snake Men to what is it? Powers of Grayskull. Also, Mechaneck got transformed into a snake, him and Man-at-Arms. So again, Mattel, here's another opportunity to put Mechaneck on a regular card and not packed in with the Ground Ripper.
Yes.
Mattel.
Mattel.
So Mattel.
Mattel.
As if they care what I think. So speaking of,
they should care what we all think, right?
Right. Speaking of transformed characters, Snake Tila. I already kind of talked about 2000X, but for anyone who didn't immediately catch on the battle armor thing I mentioned, there's a picture from the Battleground Heroes card, as well as the original art, with the Snake Tila parts, the boots, and the torso, and then the Zora. We always call him Zora as a kid, but I'm apparently wrong. With that Tila and the Snake Tila, you can get to that Tila, which would be a cool variant.
Yeah.
Also, if you take parts from the WWE China and all of those Tilas, we could get a 2000X She-Ra, which because we got Snake Tila, we know they are willing to consider the exclusives from 2000X. And again, if they're considering doing Princess of Power next year for the 40th and the Horde, which why would they not? A 2000X style Tila She-Ra would be a good way to sort of slide into that. So I've got my fingers crossed because we need more Princess of Power. We need more She-Ra. Come on, Mattel.
Yeah, we do.
Yeah, because with the Princess of Power, you also get, like Lord Hoagie was saying, the Horde. So
well, yeah, I mean,
as well.
We definitely, because I know people, when I mentioned I was doing this, a lot of people have been like, what about Rio Blast? Are you going to talk about Rio Blast? And it was like, I had not planned on it, but now we will. But that's relevant to the Horde. I was just like, the people want Rio Blast, Mattel. If you're watching this.
Oh, they are.
But yeah, so I think Snake Tila was exciting though. Like, I know a lot of people were like, oh, repaint Tila, but again, I looked at the new tooling and I saw all the possibilities. And if Mattel doesn't give this to me, I'm just gonna buy like 20 Snake Tilas. You know, as one does.
As they'll go on sale, right? And like
eventually.
And they're starting to show up.
Yeah, they are.
I think,
I got my notification.
We're starting to process them, and and I think maybe even Amazon maybe starting to ship them
Big,
out soon too.
yeah, Big Bad Toy Store told me that they would soon arrive.
Mhm.
So, which brings us to sort of the 1988 Lost Wave holdouts.
Ooh,
So
yeah.
we've gotten the Snake Trooper and we've gotten Slamurai. Terror is rumored. Hopefully he happens because we need him, as is Lord Grasp.
Mm-hmm.
But the thing is, obviously, Terror is a no-brainer because Trapjaw, Whiplash, Rat Lore, Mosquito, more Rat Lore. Like, they've got all the parts. Why not? Lord Grasp, now that we've got Squeeze, all those parts are there because it's just the Scareglow cape. That was about to trip me up. And Clawful. And Clawful doesn't have a lot of reuses for his little claw, so that's exciting, Mattel. I almost wonder if Mattel said, wow, we could one day do Lord Grasp if we do Clawful. I know they didn't, but...
Right. They were going to do Clawful to do Clawful.
They figured it out later and like, oh my god, there's another toy we could do.
Right.
There was the
Well,
Power
they have to
of
do something with that big ass claw, right?
Right.
I mean,
because you can't put it
Get
in
their
butter
money
and
worth.
throw it in the hot tub. I mean, it's plastic.
we got boiling lobsters in there already.
Your body, you can't digest that plastic.
Yeah.
But both of those characters were in the PowerCon 2017 3-pack, along with Plasmar, who was also from the 1988 Lost Wave that was going to be Powers of Grayskull. He's one of whichever. Lord Plasmar and Strobo are the only two left from that line that we haven't had teased. But Strobo ended up on the back of the Snake Trooper card.
Yeah.
So he seems pretty, fingers crossed, but he seems like a done deal. Yep. Plasmar from this line is the one that's a little iffy, but you will note his legs are squeeze legs. His classics look used the Sir Laserlot buck for the armor. I don't think we're going to see any of those, the 30th anniversary design a figure, like maybe the one that Horseman did, the dragon guy, but I don't think we're going to see Mighty Spectre or Plasmar. I'm sorry, Sir Laserlot in Origins.
Definitely won't see Mighty
I know
Spectre.
a lot of people are going to be sad about the Mighty Spectre thing, but don't worry, I'm making a custom of him in Origins. So I got you hooked up.
Are you going to do him by April 1st?
I wish I could get it done by April 1st. That would be amazing.
I'm totally joking, and you know where I'm going with that, right?
I may have an inkling of what you were hinting and suggesting at, and I was just going to pretend like I didn't and like run with it. But we could do it your way too, I guess. Your way is fine, Toy Sorceress. Anyway, though, I like Plasmar, though. It would be cool to get him. He's also originally was designed as an African American, so it would be cool to get a little bit more diversity in the line. I know we've gotten Sunman, but it's rare for the actual Motu characters to be diverse. Just because that's how the 80s were when they would design toys. But it would be nice to get somebody from the actual universe originally out in the line. And he's a cool character.
So when you guys saw Strobo, did you get excited? Because we haven't gotten Cyclone obviously officially, announced. He's been teased on multiple card backs. And now that Strobo's been teased, we're like, it's got to be a given that we're going to get Cyclone. And I hope we get him first because he's just super cool. I want to have that bright yellow and blue.
Well, yeah, I was super excited because that means I have an extra Zodak I can custom somebody else with. So
there you go.
I've been stockpiling since Zodak first came out. I've had an extra Zodak head for Strobo. So that but he's just a cool character. I mean, he's complete. Again, he's what we love about Motu. Kind of completely ridiculous.
Yeah.
100% parts from other figures, just kit bashed and repainted. But he's a cool idea, and I think for most of us, I think that's what we loved about Motu as a kids, and why still as an adult we enjoy them because there's all of this. It's really exciting when we get these weird characters that are very colorful. So
Yeah, I mean,
you know,
Cora makes a great point. Isn't there a bearded Sunman character? Yes, that's Holographo, right?
yeah, Holographo, they potentially could use his head instead of
Yeah.
Fistos.
Or Plasmar.
It's going to depend on the
Mhm.
rights, how Rulers of the Sun is set up, because the licensing agreement with Wila Eason was for 2 years,
Mhm.
and that is in a few months, which would make sense why we're suddenly getting a flush of Rulers of the Sun characters, because their agreement was that they would release all of them within that time frame. I'm going to assume they will renew because Sunman is really Sunman himself has done really well. The distribution has been so weird. Who knows what is actually
Right.
happening with the other characters? But Sunman's done really well. So
Yes.
I would assume they at least renew for him and Pighead.
Yeah.
But anyway, that's that was a side.
Yeah. Yeah. Robert was saying we need more. We need Sunman figures. Need a couple vehicles. Yeah. They didn't have vehicles in the line, but hey, you can throw them in the the Motu vehicles.
They you know, like I really would like.
Or has some cool variants of the vehicles, right?
Mhm.
I am hoping that they renew with Wyla and expand it out, because I do know that she had mentioned in one interview that she had more ideas for Sunman if it had gone longer. It just came out so late in the Motu game, you know, when it finally hit shelves. That whole side of it was, which is why it leans a little bit more into superhero, because superheroes were sort of happening with like Batman at the time. So but yeah, it would be nice if they continue that. And also Strobo gives us Cyclone, which we need. Cyclone, Mattel. We must have Cyclone.
Yeah.
And
That's
back to
We need to get Cyclone first, yeah.
but to wrap up really quick, let's wrap up with Plasmar, because this is probably his last shot at anyone remembering him. He got the original design for him used the same chess piece as Hero did. And we do know Hero is likely going to show up in Origins once we move to sort of Power of the Grayskull around the time Eternia comes out. So I'm thinking we probably will see Plasmar, just probably not this year. It'll probably be next year. I don't sort of like with Strobo. It's like I feel like we'll get Cyclone before Strobo just because. And I think it'll be the same with Plasmar. We'll get Hero first and then get him after. Also, though, for Rio Blast people, Plasmar uses Rio Blast's arms. So
that's awesome.
So, yeah.
I am over the moon for Hero, and you guys already know that. I so want Origins Hero.
He would be great. I've got the Super 7
with back metal.
I've got the Super 7 one, and he's great. I
do too.
I love it. He's got the exact aesthetic. He looks like what the original toy would have been. But I'm not gonna lie. Hello, my name is Allison Troy, and I'm gonna confess, as much as I love the original Motu line, like the increased posability of the new ones, as a kid I was always annoyed that they only had like the one I look constipated pose that you could put all of them in. I like the extra posability of Origins. Like it's what I always wanted Origins to be like as a kid. So yeah. All right. So let's get to more fun stuff.
Cora, my Super 7 Hero is also on my Castle Grayskull back there. He's up on the tour. So he hangs out with my Origins figures too.
Also tell Cora, one day in the comments, Cora recommended the Final Faction figures, and I have picked up some of those toys, and they're amazing. So thank you, Cora. Yeah, like I had heard about them, but I hadn't checked them out. And she said something in one of your chats, like, why isn't anyone on ToyTube talking about how awesome Final Faction is? And I picked up a bunch of them. I don't know who makes them. They're through Dollar Tree on the West Coast. I don't know who makes them elsewhere, but I got a bunch of, like, this was $1.25 at my Dollar Tree. So Evelyn has a chariot. I believe Luca, if Lucha is watching from the Geeked Out Life server, so he has all sorts of amazing ideas with them. So between Cora's recommendation and his doing stuff, don't sleep on Final Faction, y'all, as I'm not going to be on my desk over.
You heard it here first.
Anyway, so Axel Jimenez does amazing art.
Yes.
Axel was doing most of the production art for classics. So a lot of the concepts come from classics, but would be easily adaptable. I also would assume that Mattel wants to secure some of the rights and likenesses and trademarks. Because technically, if Super 7 made any of these figures, in theory, it would make it a little iffy as far as them using the name if Mattel doesn't secure a copyright.
Yeah.
And plus, Axel, his art, again, I'm going to say the Cold Dark card with all those snake men, amazing.
Yes.
And the CamoCon
Oh,
card.
jeez. That was insane.
Mattel needs to give us
that
really...
CamoCon card art, it blew
so
my mind. I mean, what did you guys think when you saw it? I was just like, because I look at card art and I'm like, oh my god, figure tees, and so my head exploded when I looked at that.
Well,
and then we did an incredibly long article on it.
Well, not only that though, but like the detail, like Axel's. I mean, again, this is an Axel Jimenez fan club meeting, I guess, but Axel just put so much detail into. It's like, and again, this sort of goes back to the original line. One of the reasons I think for many of us Motu has endured is the card art, the box art, were the quality that you would expect from like on a fantasy novel, like, or like a really nice painted, like what was it, Frazetta, that most of it seems inspired by. It was like, it really looks like a lot of love went into that art, and it helped our imaginations fill in the parts, especially before Filmation. But it's just like Axel's, like Axel could be doing like Superman or Batman or any major comic character, and it would just be like, he's that good.
I think,
that kind of love.
The one thing that, like, I mean, back in the day, and of course now, that made Motu so special was that incredible package art. And it drew fans in there, to the whole world of fantasy and fiction that Motu, the whole world that they had to bring into the, the universe, I guess that you want to call it. And it's incredible that they continued that now, because that's kind of one of the things that was very disappointing about the I love the classics line. Like, the figures are great, but their packaging is just like, green bricks. So I love all the artwork. It's fantastic.
My least favorite part of classics was the way that often the box obscured what the character, like, you could see, like, their face wasn't always visible.
Yeah, even in the Orko and Prince Adam pack, like, Prince Adam was like packed on the ground
inside, right?
You couldn't even see him.
It's
like Orko whacked him on the head with his wand or something, and he passed out.
Well, it's, whenever those were coming out, like, my then boyfriend came over and he was looking at the She-Ra, and he was like, why does she keep telling me to keep my eyes on her face when I can't see it? And I'm like, that's a really good point. Thanks. Thanks. Okay, so Axel's art. Fangor, who did come out in classics, he reuses King Hiss and Skeletor parts. And again, they could repaint, like the head sculpt they could reuse. So hopefully we see Fangor. Oops, that was the wrong one. Oh, I went too far. Sorry, guys.
Spoiler alert.
Spoiling it all. Spoiler alert. Okay, back. All right, Stretch Net.
Oh yeah, we have got to get into these ones. These are awesome.
Yeah, so these are all Axel's designs for classics. So you'll see. I try not to cover them too much, but most of them have like 2012 to 2014 dates on them. And one of the reasons I think, again, Axel, you're amazing. But he tries to go back to the original concepts by Roger Sweet, Mark Taylor, and all of the originals who made this line what it is, and draw from like their production art. Like Stretch Neck is really cool. And this was actually the original design for Whiplash. He's just adopted it. And these are his notes for classics that's on it. So like the basic torso piece, he said, could come from Ceratus, who we don't have yet.
Right.
But also, if you just looking at him, you could pretty much use like Rattler's torso. Rattler. Thank you, Southern accent. Rattler's torso The typical Skeletor spider arms. I mean, like half of this is Whiplash, the other half through Rattler, maybe a new head sculpt, because that's a unique enough sort of snake face. But also they could easily, from that 2-pack with the 4 heads, they could do this sculpt and then reuse that there as well.
Yeah.
I did put a Ceratus. There's this picture of Ceratus on here. He was from Whiplash's people. He was like a heroic character though. But also they could reuse parts of Whiplash to do Ceratus. So maybe. I'm not going to roll them out. For these, I'm going to have to look at my notes. So I apologize if it sounds like I'm reading.
No, it's all good. Yeah, I'm actually really excited. Like these characters I really want made because they should have been made in classics. So,
they really should have. Like I get what I mean. Like I think if classics had continued, we would have got several of these because of the parts reuse. It's just I think Mattel was like, we could do this better. And I've heard debates between Origins and classics, and I can see like why people prefer classics to Masterverse. Excuse me. For the most part, I do. I actually prefer the Princess of Power in Masterverse because for me, the female sculpts in classics always looked a little derpy. So
they did.
Sorry.
Double trouble, right? She was heckin' derpy.
Luckily, she was double mischief.
Right.
Don't get me started, Michael. You know
I
how
I won't.
Everyone go back and rewatch our Princess of Power episode from like 2 years ago to hear me go off on the derpy. And say Mattel is cheap many, many times. So next up, click, flick. Oh my, Kayla, here you go. I almost gave you one.
I was just going to say with something, just to bring in a point that, the reason that Masters of the Universe had to reuse so many parts is because really this was Mattel's own line. They didn't have another license to help carry the load in terms of cost of tooling and things like that, like you get with Marvel and DC, those kind of lines. And so they had to kind of be a little bit more creative. Yes, we had a TV show that was helping promote Motu, but you didn't have those big dollars that you have like behind Marvel and Star Wars. So Mattel really had to kind of make it on their own and make it make sense.
Yeah,
for them to be able to produce all these toys, and I think
we joke about it, but I mean, Motu was Mattel's way to sort of get a budget toy line out on the market because the prices, I mean, like they were like $4.99 when they first, like $3 to $5 when they first, which is pretty good for the time. I mean, Star Wars figures were up to like $2.50, $3 at that point. So price-wise, they were. I mean, this is like I sort of joke and say we were really spoiled. We had it all, but Motu toys were not expensive. I mean, toward the end, they started getting more so when it was a bigger line. Eternia was expensive. But like for the most part, it was an affordable toy line. This is why we all had these toys because they were inexpensive. Like it was easy for our parents to get us 2 or 3 figures, a little vehicle, and Castle Grayskull was like $20, which was a lot more then. I mean, back then my mom could feed us for a week on $20.
Yeah.
But at the same time, like that's even for the day that I bought my Crystal Castle and the entire She-Ra line in like 1985, mowing lawns, and I babysat one time. No children. But also just I got a job like helping a gardener plant, and that was how I bought them. And I didn't make that much. I was a kid, but that's just because Mattel kept it in that price range, and that's why, because of the reuse. So it's funny to joke about now because we were sort of spoiled by Hasbro / Kenner with Power of the Force too.
Yeah.
So quick flick, Kayla. I keep trying to say something else that starts with the C for the quick. So he's a snake man and he's an archer. What's not to love about that? He also reuses Mantenna parts, which obviously was a lot of tooling they had to do for Mantenna. So that's a way for them to reuse it. It makes me think Quick Flick is a good
Mhm.
good option for happening because
Yep.
that's tooling they've
Mhm.
got. It doesn't have a lot of other
Yep.
use. He also uses he was designed to use the lizard man waist piece. But the thing with that is, I don't. Again, this depends on how willing they are to do filmation. Lizard Man is really a whole new buck, although it would be a team buck. So if they were to give us a proper 2000X Prince Adam, maybe. But he also uses Modulok's feet, and
Mhm.
as we know, Frogmonger, his torso is remarkably like the Filmation Modulok
Yes.
torso. I mean,
Yeah.
right here, it's like pretty much the same thing in different colors. And they could do a
Yeah.
Filmation Modulok using the Mantenna torso, I mean the waist with the Frogmonger torso. And it even looks like the little fins from the Frogmonger ankles. So I think Quick Flick's a pretty good candidate for maybe happening. Just because of the reuse and the parts that he would facilitate or that they could reuse at that point. Next, we've got Viper.
Oh, actually, I wanted to bring up something since you mentioned Modulok. We actually did this tease in an article because we were like, wait, there's so many parts that are reused between Modulok.
And if you look at that sketch, right, for Frogmonger, it points out like Modulok's torso and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Right?
And Axel developed that Frogmonger sketch is from the beginning of Origins, whenever they started putting him on all the card art. So that means like at the beginning of Origins, when they created Frogmonger, it was with the intent that he would have some shared parts. He envisioned him being smaller because Modulok is smaller, but if they do a Filmation Modulok, he was not smaller. So and with all of the tooling Modulok needs, they're going to want to probably double dip and give us a Filmation and then give us a proper one just so that they can make all that tooling happen.
Oh, most definitely.
Okay, so Viper, really quick. He reuses parts from Snake Face, which is the only reuse of Snake Face parts, so that's good. Otherwise, he uses a lot of new tooling. There are a couple 2000X characters, Lord Dactus and Pravos, I think, that would have been reused here. They could sort of put them together with existing tooling. You still would need a new head and a new armor. The only reason I'm like even entertaining that maybe he would happen is because his head is the same one from the Eternia playset. He would be a cool figure to sort of release around the time Eternia is hitting as sort of a top. My thinking is if there had been more tiers revealed for the Eternia, that he might have been one of the things that they were advertising as coming along.
So obviously, when you look at Viper, he looks like Viper Tower of Eternia. He's got the same head design. He's red. He's like, I mean, he looks like he should be like the guard of the Viper Tower. And now that you're saying that, like, I totally want Mattel to make one so that I can put in front of the Viper Tower.
I mean, exactly.
That's what its concept was. It was meant to represent that.
Exactly.
It was the same way they did like Castle Grayskull Man and because there wasn't a way to. I mean, there's designs for a Snake Mountain Man, but it's the face. It's not an actual. It's not the actual.
I love how they translated him into
totally lame vintage playset snake. Oh, I keep hitting the wrong form. Oh, there we go. Slides, they're wonderful. Next up, 3 more snake men. First of all is get back to the right place. Goldenrod. This droid, this robot, is technically a snake man. He was, I believe, if I'm remembering correctly, one of Lady Slither's minions. But he reuses parts from both Roboto and the Horde Trooper. He does technically need a multibot, pieces from multibot. So if we get multibot, he definitely could happen. Honestly, though, they could, if they don't want to follow this precisely, pretty much the Horde Trooper from the waist down with the torso they use for the Roman Reigns over in the Masters of the WWE line, Roboto arms, and then Roboto head, and you've got Goldenrod. So they could pretty much achieve this one right now with the tooling they have, or wait for or use them as a reason to make multibot happen. So
even so, Goldenrod, was that a play on C-3PO a little bit?
That was my assumption.
I mean, that was his like cute little nickname they called him, right? Like,
yeah, like he very clearly looks like C-3PO. So probably that was, you know, part of it. He was one of the classics characters that were in those mini comics.
Yeah,
and that is one of the good things about classics, was there was a lot of attempt to bring in new characters and new concepts.
Yeah.
I mean, he actually he's a little honestly, I find him a little underwhelming. But at the same time, he would make and it would still be cool to have like a golden, I mean, if only Mattel could, you know, like if they could vac metal him gold, that would be even cooler.
Oh, that would be
he's just a weird one in general. Like
he's a little
like I've always wondered why he fits into the Snake Men in general.
Yeah, exactly. Like
he's a robot.
Like, all the more reason to sort of release him though, because he's got this word that's so Motu. Like, you know, you've got the barbarian next to like man at arms with all of sort of the futuristic weaponry. So like it is kind of doesn't make sense, but it does in the Motu way. And again, they would get to reuse Roboto, which we can tell by many comics Roboto, they were dying for a chance to reuse Roboto.
Yeah. I was a little bummed that they just put that little thing on the outside of him and didn't like put the heart.
When it's funny because because I recently got mine, my pile of loot showed up with him. I had somehow missed it was just a sticker, and whenever I was looking at it, I had that total rage kid adult moment where I had the meltdown in the living room. It's just a sticker.
Yeah, it's I think it's just, I can't tell if it's on the outside or the inside of the plastic, but
yeah, I didn't examine it that quickly. I opened them up, I took them out, I'm like, yeah, that's cool, and threw them in a box. I was like, I'm done.
Yeah, he was just in a plastic tote down here too.
In a few weeks, I'll take them out and I will learn to love you, mini comics Roboto.
I mean, I think it was something cool about the orange. Like there was a lot of orange in this wave, right? Between him and Hypno.
Yeah. I would have been, if they had released it without the heart sticker, like I would have loved it just because of I have 2 extra Robotos I don't know what I'm going to do with now. Probably Goldenrod. I'm just going to paint him all gold and pretend. But so now I have an extra Roboto that I don't know what to do with, that I was going to paint like this and put a heart sticker on the chest for. So, okay, Mattel, you're forgiven. But yeah, so it was a little disappointing though.
Cheer up, Roboto.
Cheer up, Roboto. You won't be in that box always.
Be a female Roboto.
There's a robot woman. Yeah, there is a robot woman from she's not on the list because she's not a snake person.
Yeah.
But yeah, they worked. She was a way for them to work in some of the tooling they would have needed for New Adventure Sorceress and a reuse of the Granita tooling.
Oh,
it would have been Granita's body and the New Adventure Sorceress head in gold. Yep. So clever reuse. Axel designed it. Axel, you're a god.
Yes.
What if no, I don't want children. Anyway, next up, Reptiliax. I think that's how you say it, or Reptilax. He's a reptile like X-Lax. Goes right. He's really cool though.
In that pose, right? That vintage constipated pose, right?
Yeah, exactly. It makes sense because you know.
This is another one that's kind of like, you know, with just all the skin. So is he gonna pegworm too? Like, kind of like naked Stratos. I mean, his head's cool and everything. I don't know. It feels like someone like took his like snake scales off, or I don't know why he's just like flesh colored.
Well, I think what's charming to me about him is he's actually in the original 80s mini comic
Mhm.
that introduced King Hiss and the Snake Man. He was one of the generic Snake Men in that.
So he's like an OG card
He's
art.
like an OG, like
he's an OG
Even
team.
way back,
yeah,
right?
he's an OG like army builder. Like we need 5 or 6 Snake Men, so these Snake Men look impressive in the mini comics. And there we go. And the fact that he looks like Fang Man from Filmation, I'm sure was not at all on purpose. But that is sort of the cool thing is he has some interest because again, Axel designed him really well. But he uses parts from King Hiss, allegedly Fang Man. Too Bad, technically Tuvar, and Laser Light Skeletor as well as He-Man. So technically they could do him because we're all pretty confident at this point we will get Too Bad. Laser Light Skeletor seems like a no-brainer.
Yeah.
If they do Too Bad, to my thinking, it would be dumb not to do all the tooling to do Tuvar and Badra. Just because there's, you know, without tooling, you get basically 2.5 figures.
Yeah,
and then
I'm with Brennan. If they made Tuvar and Badra in single figure form, I would flip too. That would be freaking amazing.
I would be down for that. Because if they don't, I'm just gonna have to spend all this money to customize those Mattel. Just make them for me. Save me the time. You've got the parts.
Do the work.
Do the work, Mattel.
Also, Reptilac showed up on the CamoCon card art too. So
he was also on the Coldar card, and Axel has mentioned him a few times, so I feel like this is a character Axel loves, so therefore I love Reptilac as well.
That's some mathematical property that
it's like math, yeah. Science. Exclamation point! Science, industry, Axel creating
science, yeah,
right. Stay in school, kids. So yeah, next. Oh wait, I keep hitting forward on the wrong screen. Sorry.
It's all good.
Okay, this is the right next one. Finally, Lady Slither, who we spoke of earlier. Let me get over to my Lady Slither notes. And I open with, there aren't many ladies, none, so far in the Snake Man faction.
Well, Snake Tila's part of it, right?
Yeah, technically. Oh, we didn't get her in Classics, though, so it's interesting we got her in Origins.
Yeah.
However, Lady Slither, because of the way that she is designed, she has like the little fang bustier, which is the height of rage. I want one now.
Me too.
She's got bite. Anyway, but what would be cool about her is she does have sort of the 2 looks. She's got this, you know, like this snake tail bottom, and then she could transform those into legs like an evil little mermaid. But her human form also uses the standard female legs and boots, but she has one of the little fur diapers on like the men, which we don't have in the female buck, which would give us a lot of opportunity for some of the original women that we got in the classics, as well as Battleground Tila. And if they engineered it correctly with where her top is like sort of clip-on armor, they also could get a generic female buck, which would give us the opportunity for Shikai, Battleground Tila, and many Princess of Power characters, and a Double Trouble who is not derpy in the face. Actually, no, she would not. Double Trouble would use no parts that are, except maybe the arms that are generic, but still.
Giraffe is all for women in fur diapers, by the way.
Yeah, right. It's drafty. But and also Axel designed her this way purposefully. If you notice, there's a little clip of the Filmation Zalora, who is the leader of the Snake People in the Filmation cartoon. He designed her so she would have the same crown for potential reuse to make this character happen. So technically not a lot of reuse for Lady Slither as it is, but she's the potential for Mattel to get some more generic pieces out there that would then allow a lot of new figures. So, and one thing I'm not sure what you guys are hearing on the streets when we gather together to talk Motu, but my informants tell me that many people are missing more female figures in this line.
So many comments in the chat.
So many.
Cora saying we need Queen
that's our
Marlene. Like,
street.
where is she already?
That's our
Randy's
street, is all the
lonely
people in the chat.
Right?
out on the
Yeah.
street corner.
There just aren't enough. Tila and Evelyn can only do so much. And the sorcerer, that's why the sorceress is peg warming, guys. They thought that would
Aw.
satisfy the urge. It did not. And then after Lady Slither is my personal favorite, Toxoid,
Oh,
who
yeah.
Axel developed specifically for Origins. Axel, you're the man. And in fact, he was on, I believe, let me look at, yep. He was developed by Axel for Koldar's card back and inspired by the vintage mini comics. Also, we'll note this is basically Tongue Lasher in a different color with King Hiss's waist and a spear from Whiplash. So Mattel, give us this figure. But also, like, he's perfect. But also, as we saw with Frogmonger, like, Frogmonger was really exciting. Not only is he sort of like a from the vintage line without being from the vintage line, but he's also a new character. I've noticed, I can't speak for everyone in this area that we're in, whatever we're going to call this, this virtual space we have gathered in. Just like new characters are really exciting in Origins. Everyone got really excited. You know, like there are people finally getting their Frogmongers, and it's just like it's cool to see people excited.
That would be me.
Like, after Monday, right?
Did you get yours, Michael?
No.
Did you get yours? Not yet. Okay. I have a second one that was supposed to come and hasn't shipped yet.
Oh, no.
I got the one that we reviewed.
I was in the first wave of
one.
I have both of mine.
King Panther wants Lady Slither to be the official mascot for the Hot Tub Patreon tier. Yeah, I mean,
Frogmonger says he's sorry you don't have him yet because he's amazing.
Sure we could make something happen. Maybe a mashup between Zorana and Lady Slither. That
would be cool. Well, you'll be really unhappy, King Panther, because under her bustier, it's teeth.
Bustier.
Yeah, it's big giant snakes. Anyway.
I wanted to just call out Jeffrey's comment. You're very welcome, and this is actually our favorite thing to do on Saturday,
right?
Meet and talk with everybody. So I mean, we're actually very thankful that you are here with us. So thank you, Jeffrey.
This is the fun thing to do: is nerd out over this stuff and explore our geekery over toys. So we're just gonna linger on Lady Slither and Toxoid. This is my second favorite slide in my slide presentation. The other one, of course, being the Snake Tila Shira one. But these are just characters we need, Mattel. We need Toxoid, Mattel. Don't make me make a Toxoid with my extra tongue lasher. I need that extra tongue lasher for other things, Mattel. All right. So let's move along. Wait, we're too far. Cyclone, Rio Blast, Extendar, and Tubat.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, I think with all of the comments in like videos, Instagram, DMs, it's Cyclone is the one who also gets talked about a lot. So yeah.
Everyone is really worried. I mean, with just reason that we're not going to get Cyclone. And I was trying to figure that out a few weeks ago because, you know, everyone was like, but what about Cyclone? But I, when I was sort of researching this, to make sure my memory wasn't faulty, Cyclone is one of the last actual pushes that happened in Masters of the Universe, like as far as the commercials go. He was one of the last sort of who had a big marketing campaign around him. Whereas after it would be like, there were commercials for the new figures, but it was often sort of spread out. You know, it was like all of the figures, but Cyclone actually had like his own sort of commercial that he starred in. So obviously Mattel marketing back in the day really saw him as a standout character, and he got a lot of extra attention. He also had a couple really, because Filmation, as much as we enjoyed it, sometimes characters did not get a really much to do and weren't very they didn't live up to our imaginations. I feel like Cyclone's one of the characters who actually really benefited from Filmation, because he actually like got a really good, like there was one episode, I can't remember it now, anything other than like I was really excited by it, and it made us play with Cyclone more.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
That was the only time my brother tried to take Cyclone back. But it didn't happen because my brother is definitely, I hope he's not watching this. He would be very sad that I'm about to say this. But my brother used to be deathly afraid of condiments, and over Cyclone, I squirted him with mustard.
Oh no.
And he ran screaming from the house and went to hose off. And while he was outside, I opened all of the doors to the house and I put all of the mustard and mayonnaise and just lined it in front of the door. It was like how you keep like a vampire out by doing holy water, and he just sat in the yard and cried for 3 hours until my parents came home. And it was all Cyclone's fault.
Oh
my God, I hope he's not watching. He will be so mad I told that, because he's in his 40s now.
Well, if he's watching now, he can also watch on replay. So
yeah, like he'll find within 2 years when he gets to that part of his therapy. And
I'll just send it to him. So
yeah, that's a good idea.
Yeah.
Should be like, hey, watch this.
I just want to give a shout out to the Baroness of Toys who logged in to our stream here, and thank her. Yes, she did give me an extremely minty Rio Blast for the holidays. Ooh. And he's rad, and he's right here on my shelf. But we need a Rio Blast for Origins, and thank you, Baroness of Toys, because I love him, and he's with my prized possessions up on the shelf.
Yeah, Rio Blast again. I think after Cyclone, he's sort of the next one. And it's interesting because he was so far at the end of the line, but he also, like, when you go to yard sales, or like, it's really common to find sort of incomplete Rio Blasts in all these collections. A lot of us had him, and he's kind of a fun character, like the pop out guns, the Wild West thing that makes no sense in the context of Motu, but whatever. It's just, Motu is everything. And
I always thought he needed like a cowboy hat. Like he would have looked really cool with a cowboy hat.
Yeah,
but he's missing it, right?
Well, isn't there like an Undertaker figure from the Masters of the WWE or the Superstars line that has like a cowboy hat?
Yeah, it's
oh my
more
God,
totally. I wouldn't call it a cowboy hat. I wouldn't call it a cowboy hat. Yeah.
No, it's not.
Yeah, it's whatever that hat.
It has. It's a brimmed hat.
Yeah, so I mean, it would be close. Close enough for Motu. And the only reason we really haven't seen him is he just needs so much tooling. He's like all new arms. The only piece that technically exists right now would be if they use one of the WWE waist pieces. But even that's not precise because his little belt has like bullets on it, even though he shot lasers. So like, and they also can't reuse the the Buzzsaw Hordak that we've gotten, even though he technically works the same way. Like that is so specific to Hordak that it would not work for Rio Blast. So technically, Plasmar is sort of the only figure that at this time reuses Rio Blast, which I think is why Rio Blast is so far down the list. And why people, I think, are nervous that we won't get him. However, we're not going to see him. I would be surprised and happy to be wrong if we see him sort of when they do like the next bit of reveals at Comic-Con. But I do know if they gave him to us, we could get not Hurricane Hordak, Colonel Blast from Filmation, the Horde member from Filmation, Princess of Power, who would be able to reuse some of the Hordak parts. Like he could reuse the chest.
That's a great question.
So if they reuse, if they build Rio Blast right, they could just reuse that part from Hordak for the pop out chest.
I want to circle back to Pop Actor's comment. Why doesn't Rio Blast ride Stridor instead? That's a great question. Would be perfect.
Totally. I actually, if I had more room, I have a vintage Stridor, and I'm going to put my Rio Blast riding in it when I find room to set him up. I will.
I'm surprised Mattel didn't reuse that mold and give him his own horse.
They could have. They totally could have.
I mean, it's surprising they didn't. They only reused that horse one time. For what was it? Night
Night
Stalker. Yeah, because my
Night
classics
Stalker.
is right there. I need
Yeah.
Mattel to give us an Origins Night Stalker so I can sell this classics one. It takes up too much room.
We need some toy habits, cowboy hats for the hot tub.
Oh yeah, we do.
That would be really cool.
Yeah.
And then it would make it easier for some people to get out of the hot tub afterwards because they would have a hat to like move down.
Totally.
So
Cover up the parts.
Yep.
If you were so inclined.
It just happens sometimes. All that hot water down there.
Hot water.
At least that's what they used to say. Anyway. Man, the hot tub. All right. Now I've distracted myself. No.
That's all right. I'll have to show everybody my my hot tub pic at some point as a kid. My dad had sent one to me, and he's like, "Yep, this is where it started." There's like GI Joes all over the place, and then there's me in the hot tub.
The reason we have the hot tub.
It's adorable. It's totally adorable.
You've seen it.
I've seen it. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Okay. So extender. Let's do.
You can make out the figures on around the hot tub, like you can tell what they are. It's pretty cool.
I got proof.
Yep.
Are you gonna put that on the internet, Michael?
I don't know because I'm afraid of just people screenshotting it, and I don't know what they would do with it, but you know,
we could. Not we. I didn't say we at all. People could screenshot it and then put it on shirts and wear it. For an in-person meeting that will happen.
Hot tub merch. There we go.
There you go.
Yep.
Yes, it's definitely
getting
hot in here.
Then they get to explain to everyone where there's a child in a hot tub playing with toys on their shirt.
Right.
Yeah. So these last two that you have on your Allison are a really great segue to our next topic, which we'll get to shortly, about card art. So you can go ahead and give us your information on Extender or Too Bad, and we just recently saw them. Which we will talk about.
Extender doesn't use any existing parts. So technically he's a bad bet for showing up. But he was heavily involved in all of the vintage Snake Man storyline because he came out at the same time. He also had one of his origins was tied into the Horde. It was Hordak who turned him into Extendar. So if we are moving toward Horde stuff, it would be a good time to bring him in. And we've seen him on a couple card backs now.
Yep.
And we know that Mattel does to be fair, they teased Mossman and Cobra Khan way back in like the first 2 or 3 waves on card art.
And
so
we still haven't got them yet.
I think what they were doing is they did it early just so people will just keep buying wave after wave just to make sure that we actually get these figures. So
it's a good point.
Yeah.
However,
they were thinking.
They could, in theory, they could reuse some of Extender's parts if they got creative. Fingers crossed that they get creative. There's the Red Knight from She-Ra Filmation cartoons. They could, in theory, use some of the Extender parts there. And then, of course, there's Sir Laser-Lot from that 30th anniversary creative figure. Possibly. It was Jeff Johns who designed that one, and I'm not sure how Mattel feels about Jeff Johns, but like he could happen. But he could, in theory, reuse some parts there. So Extender is going to be a deluxe figure regardless. I think the key is, and the reason we haven't got him is Mattel's trying to determine how they're going to do the action feature because on the one hand, we know they've been doing the action feature in limited, like we're getting, well, I'm assuming you're going to talk about Dragon Blaster Skeletor. So like I won't talk too much. But as we've seen between Cobra Khan and Dragon Blaster Skeletor, like they will do action features, but it's really specific. And it tends to be the deluxe figures. Even with all of the attachments, I can't see Extendar being on a normal card right now. But I would really, if Mattel, if you're watching this, I would advocate that they actually give Extendar the action feature because unlike, say, Ratlore, like nobody has, like, I don't think Extendar works as well without the action feature. Like Tongue Lasher, I know people aren't happy with it, but he's still really posable. You can do a lot with a lot of the figures where they've removed the action feature and have like a clip on instead. I feel like with Extendar, he just doesn't work without the actual action feature working.
I mean, it's in his name.
Yeah,
It's not click on R, it's extend R.
Yeah, and,
right?
and
you can't have extend R if you don't extend his pieces.
And
So
yeah,
there
they
you
could
go.
totally make it work. They did in classics, but even in like again, like I am fine with the way Ratlore is. I hated as a kid that Ratlore wasn't super posable. I never had that issue with Extendar because all he was good for, the only use he had was extending. That was his whole play feature was he grows bigger and spreads. And Kayla, if you're there, that one was for you as well, sweetie. But I just don't think he works without the extension ability. Like, and again, they could release it. I'm gonna buy it either way. Like they know that. So, but I just think for a lot of people, it's gonna be a pass. People are really attached to him.
With Spikor, I made the mistake of thinking they actually did his trident that came out of his arm, and they didn't. It was just a swap out piece.
They did not.
That kind of bummed me out.
It made me really happy when I realized because I hated. Because the summer Princess of Power came out was the summer I got Spikor, and like, oh my God, Shira's hair would get stuck in that stupid Spikor. It's not cool.
What was Shira doing, man? What was she up to?
She was beating the crap out of him. As she should.
It's getting really hot in here now.
He's got all the spikes. You can't touch him. You have to pick him up by his spike arm and throw him.
That's funny.
It's really difficult without the hair. So, all right, and then.
But if Extendar is fine with just attaching extensions, like we should be all with fine.
I will accept.
I'm just being silly, but I'm like, it's his name, so let's honor him by actually
totally agree.
Let's give him his extensions as he needed.
Yes.
All right, and then last but certainly not least, Too Bad. He's been on many card backs at this point. He's in Masterverse. Everybody wants him. He's actually rumored as coming later in the fall or late fall, early winter. I only threw him on here because people are still concerned, but I feel pretty certain we'll see Too Bad.
Yeah.
It could be wrong. I would hate to be wrong, but he just Cyclone and Too Bad to me are the last two like A-list characters we have not yet got. No offense to Rio Blast and Extendar.
Chuck Norris.
All the offense to
Charles Bronson here.
But
Charles Bronson, totally.
Well, and that's true, right? Yeah, exactly. Like he does oh my God.
Well, the reason Mattel has not given us Too Bad or Cyclone yet is because they've been trying to spread out the A-list characters to make the line last longer.
Well,
that's why we haven't gotten Mossman yet, even though he just got officially announced, and that's why we just got Spikor. I mean, I guess they're doing it right.
To me, that's fine. You need sort of the A-list characters as well as like variants of the A-list characters who have come out to sort of mix in with the like lesser. Like there are a lot of people who are really unhappy, sort of Rulers of the Sun being included before, say, like Rio Blast and Too Bad, but it's like Rulers of the Sun don't require a lot of tooling. That's how we get these.
They require like zero tooling.
Yeah, right. Like
it's like a different head and like accessories.
Yeah, like when they designed those, like Wile Eason looked at exactly how Mattel did those early waves of Motu and saw all the reuse, and that's what she went with.
Yeah.
She built,
Wile had to create that line on her own, right? She did that from the ground up.
But so she looked at what Mattel was doing and was like, well, how do I do that to hit this underserved market?
Yep.
And it's, like if the line had continued and not sort of ended like all the other 80s toy lines, there would have been more tooling as it sold, like as the sales went up.
Of course.
But that's how we get to Cyclone and Too Bad. We have to have, for every mini comics Stratos, like
Mhm.
that's how we get,
Yep.
you know,
Yep.
Cobra Khan the first time.
Yep. Naked
And
Strato.
then
Mhm.
the next 17 times is so that, you know, that they get their money's worth. So,
Yeah.
you know,
Oh, for sure.
Mattel is frugal. We'll not call them cheap anymore. They're frugal. So that
They're
is
trying to be
sort of
smart
the
with
end
their
of my
money.
slides. And there's a picture of Snake Tila and her battle armor, just
Ooh,
because
very nice.
these are cool. And
Aw.
Toxoid, we have covered. And Cyclone, Mattel, we need Cyclone. And really quick, I just, as I wrap up the slides, Brick Something, I will be appearing on his show within a few weeks.
Oh, that's great.
We haven't finalized yet, but I'm going to be bringing a bunch of my customs on so that everyone can see how not great I am at them, so that they feel less. Well, you know, so that
So
you know, like,
Pink Panther has a question for you.
oh yeah,
What is your favorite evil faction? Who's your favorite hero? For me, Evil Horde and Battle Armor He-Man.
so that's okay. So first, I don't consider like this. I don't care if people don't like this answer. I consider Motu and Princess of Power technically separate. So my favorite, obviously, like all of Princess of Power is sort of my favorite, but in Motu, my favorite evil warrior is Evil Lyn, and that's because when I was a kid, Motu was originally my brother's thing until I saw Tila and Zodak on the card, and then Tila was kicking ass in the mini comic.
Yeah.
She like fonked this man in the head with like a sword or a spear or something. I'm like, I must have these. But it was when Evil Lyn popped up and the back of the card art on the back, and she was like yellow and she had a crystal ball, and she was just, even though it was the same, you know, my mom was even like, but that's Tila, she's just yellow now. I'm like, no, this is Evil Lyn. But the art on the card back just, you know, she's got the magic and like she's in this really sort of fantasy. And the way Evil Lyn came out is when they did all of the art on the back of the card back. So I hadn't seen like most of the card art on the back because Wave One just had the way back. So Evil Lyn was when I saw all of that, and it was what really, between that and the Castle Grayskull box art, like that's when Motu arrived for me. So it's Evil Lyn. Technically, she's sort of doing her own thing most of the time. So that's, and favorite faction, I tend to lean toward the heroic side of things, even though I'm often not entirely heroic myself. I'm more of an anti-hero. But I tend to like the heroes. Like, villains are cool. Like, you need good villains, but like, it still boggles my mind when people like, you know, like they watch a Star Wars movie and the stormtrooper, you know, like, I don't know. Like, they're cool. Like, I get why people, I don't lean toward villains that way. Despite having like a Maleficent action figure somewhere behind me. I tend to like the heroes better. And my favorite heroic warrior obviously is Tila. And then all of Princess of Power is just, that was my own thing. My brother wasn't into it. So I sort of got to have my own adventures over there.
There you go.
So yeah, I mean, that's, yeah, so that's yeah. It's weird.
That's awesome. That was fantastic, Allison.
That was amazing, Allison. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
No, thank you.
That was great.
Exciting. Yeah, so really quick, Brick Something and I will be conspiring, and I've also got a DCU Teen Titans collab that I'm going to be doing with Chris over at Shiny Plastic People over the next few months.
Oh, very cool.
And details to come. Nice. And at some point, I will be launching my own internet presence. I don't know when, but it'll happen.
That's so awesome. I can't wait for that.
You all have to come be members, and I'll do live streams that you all have to come be on now.
Oh, we will definitely be there.
So yeah.
Yeah.
So anyway, thank you so much for letting me indulge this.
Thank you. That was incredible. We really appreciate it. You had a really cool presentation and a lot of amazing knowledge. And that was fantastic. Thank you.
It was fun to have this outside of my head with people. So yep. Anyway, thank you so much.
Sure.
Yeah, no problem. So that was a good segue into some of the topics. We're just gonna touch on some of the news that hit later in the week. I don't know what you want to start with, Michael, but I can keep.
You're driving, so it is your choice.
Okay, let's just go with. Let's start off here with Duplico, because I know that question just came up. So Duplico was actually just found in a Walmart outside of San Antonio, Texas. And the person did find this in the store. And to answer the question, no, he did not post a copy of his receipt. But I don't know, why they would really lie about it. And it was a response. There was some chatter in the post after this person Santos and Carrillo found it. He was excited about finally getting Duplico, and there's some conversation in the chat, and then he finally said, "Hey, yeah, I found it at a Walmart outside of San Antonio." But what that tells us is, so some people have been getting their Duplico shipped to them from Mattel Creations. They're just receiving them like recently in the last couple of days, and now the first one basically showed up at Walmart. So I'm thinking like Duplico's going to start getting out there. And if we're lucky, he should start showing up online. So if you go to toyhabits.com, we've got this great article where to buy Duplico. We have the link, so be sure to go on there and bookmark it. And you can see here he shows out of stock, but if I try and check stores nearby, it usually says he's not there. But keep an eye. And let's see if I click it, if anything comes up. It's slow. It's okay. Anyway, keep an eye out, bookmark that listing, and see if you guys do get a hold of Duplico in one of your Walmart stores, please let us know. And then we also have some very convenient links here. And don't forget, you can always go to our Toy Habits shop pages, because we have complete shop pages here for all of the Origins Masterverse. I'm just going to show you guys this real quick. Figures that you can find all the links to get everything you need. This is our main shop page for Motu. And whatever you want to find, we've got all the different lines on here. So go into here, you go into Origins, for example, you can find everything that just came out quickly, get all of the figures at all your favorite retailers. So you know where to find them. One of them, if they're exclusives, especially with the Walmart links that are really difficult to find right now, we've got those all bookmarked for you. So head over to that. I don't know if you have anything else to add, Michael, on Duplico, and if not, I can go to the next.
I would just say, just be patient, people. That first release of Duplico and having it show up on Mattel Creation so early, I think gave people a lot of anxiety.
I
have major FOMO over him.
Duplico's technical treat isn't until May 1st. So Walmart.com probably has them in stock already, but they just obviously can't put them out. So if it's out there, it's likely early. So just keep an eye on the website. The website probably will not release them early, but I know somebody at Walmart, and they technically are there. They're just not live yet. So.
Oh, wow, that's great to know.
Yeah, so if they show up early, it means either they've broken street date, or they may have negotiated with Mattel to change the street date. Since it's an exclusive, I would say there's probably flexibility, but they are getting to Walmart warehouses. They're just not supposed to be out on shelf yet, and they're not supposed to be until after. So I have someone who went.
Be patient, y'all.
Who can
be patient, y'all? That's the lesson learned here. So the next thing we want to just
don't go into eBay and pay $300 for a Duplico, and you'll get
don't do that
for like $17.
The next thing I wanted to touch on, and I want to give a big shout out to our friend Mega J Retro for giving me a heads up. But Man at Arms is starting to show up periodically on Target.com for sale. He texted me yesterday. He shot me a DM. Go! It's live. Get it. Like, I was like, what? Man at Arms. I went into Target system. I was able to order one. I got one for Michael as well. And then they immediately sold out. But we have the link for Target here for you. And again, just go back, keep that one bookmarked or add it to your favorites. and Man at Arms is starting to show up, and I'm actually going to be receiving him next Thursday. So late next week, keep an eye out. We will have a review and a video review, right, Michael?
Yes, of course.
Yes. So
Yeah.
you guys will get the full scoop on the deluxe Man at Arms. But
Yeah.
keep checking that Target app because he's starting to pop up. And what I was going to tell everyone is make sure that when you do bookmark this, you could always click. There's a little slider bar that says like alert me when it's back in stock. If you go on the, it usually has like pick up in store, deliver and ship. If you click on the ship icon, it will give you the option. I have it open right here. Sorry, guys. But it should give you the option once that's there to save it and alert you when it's in stock. So keep an eye peeled.
Yeah, that's great. And I think my one comment for this one again is people be patient. Like this is something that is just starting to get out and being released. And so I'm guessing it's going to be a peg or shelf warmer like all the other deluxe figures at some point as they're getting out. So
don't forget, I mean, my targets are clogged with Too Bad, and I thought he was going to be impossible to find.
Yeah.
So
and then I just want to address some of the comments in the chat just around Duplico's news. It's like we believe that people are basically good, and like why the heck would they want to lie about something like that? Also, you can get an unpunched card from Walmart if you get a hold of the case before they actually put it on the peg. So it's not out of the question. So be kind, people.
Yeah. And do you have directions to the Walmart in Narnia? Do you go through your closet or your neighbor's?
Through my closet, through my wardrobe.
Sorry, I thought that was a very cute comment.
It was.
So let's move over to the next news story that we just got. Dragon Blaster Skeletor card art reveal yesterday. He looks incredible, and there are multiple card art teases. I can let you, if you want to chime in on this one, Michael.
It's great to see Too Bad teased on this, and also Bashosaurus and the Battle Bones. I mean, it's
Battle Bones, and you had to point that out to me right here.
It's very subtle. Yeah, it's very subtle. It's a creature that actually looked like it looks exactly like the one that was in the mini comic. And so I think it's cool.
Yeah.
He's got skin.
I think
How did you know it was him right away?
Absolutely right. And this is the third time that we're seeing Too Bad on the card art. Bashosaurus was shown just previously on, I think Mini Comics Roboto's card art, but if you blinked, you were going to miss it. And the one cool thing that we found out from, and I'm just going to go back to look at the back of Dragon Blaster Skeletor's card back, but here, of course, we were all asking is to look at the action feature, and sure enough, as we all thought, and I know we were debating this on our last live stream, is that the dragon freaking squirts water, folks. You fill it, you take off his little head, you fill it with water, and then he can freaking squirt water out of it. So he retained his action feature, which is awesome.
Yeah, I think that's great. And it's funny because I was thinking about it, because if you look at Snout Spouts, the way they did Snout Spouts, they basically put his water feature in a backpack, and so you can kind of think of that dragon as a backpack for Skeletor. So it totally makes sense that they would include the water feature.
Yeah, and right here, if you can see that, and I'll zoom in even closer. There's a little hole. So he definitely can squirt water, which is great. And just taking the previous card for Too Bad, as you know, we saw him on the Battle for Warriors set. On the back of that, he was featured, and also Mini Comic Roboto actually teased several things that are now being teased again. But of course, we got Too Bad front and center right here, and then if you blink, you would miss it. But there is the Bashosaurus, right there in the center of the back art. So that's incredible that those are going to be the next two. And I actually have a vintage Bashosaurus. It works perfectly. It's a fun little vehicle.
It is fun.
Yeah. So let's go ahead and take a look at the next card art tease that we got was for Snake Face. Actually, I do have these loaded up here. He looks really cool, Michael. What do you think about Snake Face? Because I know this is your favorite character.
I love Snakeface, and I love that he's on a deluxe card, and I love that just like you can see everything, and I love the way that they did the snakes coming out of the eyes and the mouth. He's just a creepy looking dude.
And here's the cool part that everybody was asking for, but again, if we take a look at the action features on Snakeface, they're showing, and there's no photograph of this yet, but that the two little panels pop open to reveal his snakes in his chest. What do you think about that?
I love that, and I think we were debating that when I think earlier in the week whether that would be an action feature or not. So it's amazing to get confirmation of that as well.
It says it right here: pull snakes out of body. And then let's go ahead and take a look at the Snakeface's card art. So you can see here's the snakes popping out of his body. He's got the ones out on his head here, and lo and behold, we have two characters that are turned into stone because they saw Snakeface. But who do we have? We've got mini comic Prince Adam, and we have your favorite non-extending Extendar standing in front of the Eternia Tower here from Eternia.
Yeah, it's actually very cool to see a mini comic version of Prince Adam. I wasn't a huge fan of the original Prince Adam that came with the sky sled. Sorceress, could you mute your mic just for a sec, just to see something? There's a huge echo coming in, and I'm just hearing myself. Oh, okay. There we go. Thank you. Yeah, we'll figure out the audio issues. Thank you, Toy Sorceress. But yes, the mini comic Prince Adam is going to be cool to see because that darn SDCC exclusive is so expensive. Like, it'd be nice to get just a standard carded version of mini comic Prince Adam.
We're overdue.
Yeah, and do you think that they're going to give him a soft goods vest, or do you think it's just going to be plastic like the first one was?
I think it's going to be plastic. I think they're just going to repaint it, and yeah, I mean, I don't think they would do that for a standard release.
And I'm fine with that because I have the other one, and I want him to remain special.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, so then let's go ahead and take a look at the last bit of exciting news that we got. There was the official image reveal of Snake Mountain, and we have a tease from Entertainment Earth's Drop Zone that, and we'll take a look at this. They did put a tease on their Drop Zone, and I'll come back to the official image in a second, on Friday, April 28th at 6 a.m. So we're going to have to get up early yet again, Michael. There is going to be a mountainous drop for Mattel. So, and it says Mattel / playsets. So it can't be anything other than Snake Mountain. And so let's take a look at Snake Mountain. And this is the official image. I'll let you go ahead and comment on it, and then I'm going to say something because there's something that bugs me on there.
Oh yeah, you were talking about that quite a bit, but I will let you speak to that. But yeah, I really love the way that they just redid. We saw an early prototype at that 40th anniversary press event back in October. So, the coloring looks great. I love what they did with the bridge and just all of the extras that they put on Snake Mountain. That little topper above the gate just kind of makes it look a lot grander.
Yeah, and that the wolf head, how that came out, that looks fantastic. It's all painted up and everything, and the face, in the mountain looks incredible. And then you can see here the two chains that are hanging down, and they said that was going to be made of a flexible plastic, so we don't have to worry about them breaking anymore. And then they've got some kind of like reddish vines or something hanging down here at the cave entrance, which look really cool. Now I'm going to ask this question to the chat. Oh, and there's little faces also carved within the mountain everywhere, which is really neat. But I'm going to ask this question to the chat because it's something I noticed immediately. when they revealed Snake Mountain during the 40th anniversary presser. And I said to myself, well, that's a prototype. They're still working on it. I'm sure maybe they're just trying to figure out the mechanism and stuff. But can anyone tell me out there, what the heck is this around the snake's neck that looks like either a collar or a giant weight? Because it's been bugging the heck out of me. And I thought, okay, that was just the prototype. It can't be on the final version because the regular one is just a snake head, right?
Yep.
And then when Michael sent me this and said, "Hey, here's the official image," I was like, "What the heck?"
Yeah, I don't know. I did see that in the 40th anniversary press event, but I don't know. It didn't bother me for some reason, but it feels like I think the one in the press event didn't have these ridges. So the snake was not ribbed. And I think they've added that since.
To me, it kind of looks like
I think it looks weird too.
Top. Like maybe you could put a figure to stand.
They look
there.
like something, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like right across the top, there's like it almost looks like a platform that you could maybe stick Skeletor on. Because I mean, it's obviously they're trying to get the Filmation snake, but that would have to be massive to like fit a figure in its mouth.
Yeah.
But anyway, but if they did a platform, it would almost get the same sort of energy of like how the evil warriors would go to the end of the snake mouth and just sort of like look out over Eternia.
Yeah.
And
I mean, if it's useful like that, it won't bother me so much. So you're making me feel better, Allison.
I hope that's what it is, because otherwise it's stupid. But sorry.
Exactly.
I mean, well conceived. But yeah, I don't like it unless I can use it to display a figure there. If it's just, why would you even, I don't know. Like all I can think of is stuff that Kayla would say in chat whenever I look at that collar. So
right.
Exactly. Very cool. And then I don't know if we have anything else on Snake Mountain, but we're all looking forward to the release for that. And then the last thing that Michael just covered this morning, but we got some exciting news from Ramen Toys, and he is actually coming out with a very cool Maverick Top Gun action figure. Yes. And Michael, I'll let you elaborate on this one.
Yeah, I was actually really impressed with this figure from Ramen. They're an amazing boutique toy company, and I just thought they nailed the likeness of Tom Cruise, like him or not. But I love the way that the G suit kind of fits over his naval aviator suit. So I think the whole presentation of this figure I really, really like a lot.
Yeah, it's a pass for me because I'm not a fan of Tom Cruise. But I can appreciate. I mean, like Ramen Toys just does amazing work, and like this is another amazing piece from them. Like, I almost want to buy it, even though like I would probably throw up in my mouth a little to look at Tom Cruise every day that way.
Well,
but
so the Toy Sorceress broke it down to me yesterday. It's not Tom Cruise. It's actually Maverick from the movie. So if you can separate the character from the actual actor, then...
And I've never seen Top Gun, so I could probably like... Oh yeah, he and I have beef going back to the 80s.
You got to see that. Come on.
I probably some point. I hear Kelly, what's her face is good in it. So.
But no, it's cool. I think so. Ramen said that the this will go up for pre-order sometime this coming week, so look out for that.
Yeah, that's really cool. Like, I wish I didn't hate him.
So, if you were talking Toy Sorceress, I think you're still on mute, so sorry.
Yeah, you're muted.
Oh, I apologize. I was muting myself so I didn't echo, but I just said I think he would look really cool just standing next to the Sky Striker, even though they're totally different scales, but at least they have a jet, because I have a couple different scale figures standing back there anyway. So
Yeah, that's
I could
that's
pull
so
it.
funny that you said that, because that is the exact thing that I'm going to do with that figure, is stick it next to the Sky Striker, because I really don't have another place for it, but it's just so cool.
He would totally
Yeah,
blend
you
in.
got to. He needs his F-14, right?
And Black Phoenix is bringing the fire with the existence of Top Gun implies the existence of a bottom gun.
And suddenly Top Gun sounds more exciting. All right. I think I'll watch that later.
Very cool.
Oh, she's muted again.
Oh, I'm sorry. So I think that was the last one we had to share. I don't know if you guys have anything else to add, but before we try and wrap up the stream here.
No,
for the fun now.
Yeah, I just wanted to thank Allison for coming on, and I think these types of discussions are fantastic to have with the community, because it just shows that there is more life in the Masters of the Universe line, and with all of the obsession and thinking about tooling that you do, Allison, it's like it's cool. I'm glad that we were able to do this.
Well, yeah, thank you. And also, there is a lot of doom and gloom, but I think the one thing, and this is sort of what I tell myself when I try to go down the doomy, gloomy role, even if God, like one day all toy lines end. But I think if we can, as a community, sort of like do stuff like this where we sit and remember why we like it and have the speculation and talk about what we do love about it, I think that builds like a community. So like, even if the toy line, even when it ends, in 2 or 3 years, like if we all, like are cool and have fun, like we'll still all be friends and still have this community then. So that's, to me, the important part. And stuff like this gets that going, where it's like we, like when we're helping each other find figures or breaking news or whatever, like it just builds a community. So that's my sort of thank you for having me, so that we can sort of build a toy community where people like can be built up and have fun and remember why we love this.
Yes.
So, thank you.
That's been fantastic. And we really appreciate you bringing all of your wealth of knowledge and incredible insight on the Origins line and what might be still to come, because I think all of the fans are very excited about the line, and I think there's a renewed juvenation in the line too, because we all kind of took a little gasp of a breath about a month or two ago when we were hearing rumors of the line ending, and now I think when things like that happen, it makes you appreciate what you have even more. So I think that's probably why we had the incredible reaction that we did after Monday's reveals. And we are all a community. We do love Motu, and I'm super excited to see where the line has to go. So I appreciate you coming on, Allison. We'd love to have you back. It's
nice
been fun.
To meet you in person.
Yeah, you too. I know we always chat on DM and in the chat.
Yeah,
so
we've been chatting. I think right when you started doing, because I send Michael stuff all the time. Like, look what I found. So it was just nice to meet you in person, and I'm glad to see you've stepped in front of the camera. Like, it's really cool to see. Like, yeah.
I appreciate it.
No, I'm appreciative of you. So,
all right. Thank you.
Thank you so much, y'all.
Awesome. Thanks, everybody. And it's been a fun stream. We can't wait to see you guys next week. We'll see what the Motu gods and Joe News and the Toy News gods have in store for us. We never know from one day to the next what's going to pop up. So make sure you tune in to toyhabits.com throughout the week for all of the breaking new toy news. And also check our Instagram page, because we do post on there when we do put new articles up on our website. So be sure to go back and check that out. And with that, Michael, I'll hand it over to you for closing comments.
Sounds good. All right. Thank you so much, everyone. It's been fantastic as always to hang out with you, and we appreciate every single one of you. You are the Motu community. We are the Motu community, and we are the toy community. Mm-hmm. So yeah, there is room for anyone and everyone here. So it's always amazing, and we will see you at our regularly scheduled time at 3 p.m. next Saturday, unless we pop up on one of those darn impromptu live streams that we sometimes have during midweek if there is something that is breaking. But wish everybody
Burning news.
yeah. Wish
And
everybody.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I was just gonna say also Toy Habits crew members, keep an eye out because we are working on creating our very cool perks, events, and different things. Also keep an eye out because there are early access to videos and things of that, but there will be some fun things to come. So thank you to all the crew members who have joined, and if you want to join, please be welcome to go to the Toy Habits YouTube page via your desktop, and you can join there. And thank you guys all for joining. I mean, it's been such a blast, and thank you again, Allison. We had a great time.
Yes.
Bye, everyone.
All right, y'all. Have a good rest of your Saturday and weekend, and we will see you next week.